Hey, what's going on, y'all? Now, in today's video, I want to talk about the sides of ourselves. As human beings, we are not, singular beings. We have a duality going on. In fact, when you look at the universe in general, you'll recognize there's a duality everywhere. But within us in particular, there's a duality that happens between our stronger self and our weaker self. And each has a place, a time and a place. They wouldn't exist if there wasn't a reason for them being there. But when your weaker side wins out, it leads to a hedonistic, pleasure-seeking lifestyle that really it leads you to becoming something of little worth. Something where it's like you're chasing everything outside of yourself instead of being fulfilled and gratified from within. So let's look at this and the notion of defeating your weaker self. So what are some ways that we can defeat our weaker self? And really, let's start with the basics. What is our what is our weaker self exactly? Our simpler self. Truly, and it is, you can think of any kind of base desire, any kind of simplistic, primal desire. That's what your weaker self is really, it's at the forefront. The side of yourself that wants to just have sex with a bunch of women. The side of yourself that wants to jerk off all the time, pleasure seeking. The side of yourself that wants to eat bad foods, comfort foods. The side of yourself really that's seeking comfort, seeking an easy life, going with the flow type deal, not resisting anything, not putting any pressure, not engaging things in a demonstrable way, in a fashionable way, in a realistic and worthwhile way. Because think about even just something simple like lifting weights. You know what I'm saying? You gotta apply pressure, bro. You gotta apply pressure to yourself, and it's not even just lifting weights, but exercising in general. I don't know if y'all have ever really been for a run, you know what I'm saying? But when you try to go the distance, your weaker self is fighting back, bro. And you have to have a strong side of yourself that applies pressure. So, the strong side of yourself, let's talk about that all the same. On the other side of the coin, you have the strong side of yourself, and that's the side of yourself that pushes you to do things that make you a little uncomfortable, but you know you're going to see some growth there. In my last video, I mentioned that struggle is an opportunity for growth. Your stronger side is the one that recognizes that and pursues despite the struggle and continues on despite the obstacle that it's facing. It's trying to win. It's trying to accomplish. It's trying to achieve. The strong side of yourself is trying to be the best it can be. The strong side of yourself is the one that wins. You know what I'm saying? And it's the one that pushes you to the win. So we have these two sides of ourselves, and clearly one is more optimal. It's like obviously you want to have a weaker part of yourself that it pushes you to do things like recreate, reproduce. You know what I'm saying? Like have sex. Like you want to have a desire for that. You want to have a desire for good tasting food, but you don't want to let that desire rule you. And a lot of people nowadays, they are not sovereigns in their own body. You know what I mean? Like they're like the Lord said, at least in the Christian Bible, that our bodies are temples. You know what I'm saying? Our bodies are temples, and we're supposed to protect and to strengthen these temples. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to treat it right, make sure that it's healthy, that it's in good condition, well kept. And the thing is, a lot of people nowadays, when they engage in these hedonistic lifestyles, they're destroying their temples. They're getting fat. You know what I'm saying? And that's putting your temple at risk, bro. Your temple is now at risk of catching all these different diseases, of being poorly functioning, less operational. You want to protect your temple, and the weaker side of yourself, might lead you to spilling your seed all the time. You know what I mean? Really weakening your temple, bro, for real. So we got to strengthen our temples. We have to make sure our temples are at maximum efficiency when we're walking around here. And if you don't want to think about it like that, look at it logically, scientifically. Our bodies are machines, bro. Our bodies are mechs, essentially, man. We are biomechanical machines. And your nervous system is literally just wires, bro. Literally just carrying electricity throughout your whole body. We are a mech, bro. And this is where you are. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to operate this mech suit in existence. And we're given this brain, this consciousness, by the universe, by God, whatever you want to say. We're given that so that we can, at some point in our lives, fix this. And really the main point is to protect it, you know what I'm saying? And if this thing goes out of operation, that we're supposed to fix it, we're supposed to maintain it, we're supposed to keep it. You know what I'm saying? We're not, and when you let your base self rule, you are essentially saying, I'm not going to do my job. I'm not going to do the job of keeping my body, of maintaining its efficiency. You're essentially the mechanic, you know, just the same as you're the commander. And you have to make the proper decisions for yourself that build your body's strength, that build your body's efficiency, and don't tear it down. So let's get into some ways that you can help fight against your weaker self, because, you know, I'm talking all this about the weaker self and how bad it is. Well, how do we stop it? And how do we counteract it? The main ways are, and the main way is pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. It's really the main way. And clearly just doing things that your stronger self perceives as the best, you know what I'm saying? And you don't know what that is, but here are some quick examples. Anything that maintains your health. So, semen retention. And I'll say this, anything that maintains your health while simultaneously denying your weaker side something, that empowers your stronger side. So, again, semen retention, that's a big one. You are denying your weaker self the quick pleasure of a nut in favor of your body's need for strength, for testosterone, for, you know, just general well-being, bro. I mean, look at my eyes, dog. Like, I look into my eyes all the time. I'm like, that's not normal. That should be the normal. That should be the normal if more men in the world were on retention. You know what I'm saying? But it's like my body is signaling health. It's signaling pure seed. You know what I'm saying? That's something that it's glowing. My face is glowing. My eyes are glowing. That's the signal that it's giving off to the world, so that, you know, the world can recognize. I mean, it's just like, listen, bro, I got that pure seed, bro. We got that seed, hey, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Nah, the soul. That's for real, though, you know what I'm saying? We got that seed, bro, you know what I'm saying? When you retain, you got that powerful essence. And again, you're denying your weaker self that part of you that just wants to crave a little pleasure, bro. But, you know, again, your stronger self is denying it that, because it understands the consequences of that little bit of pleasure. That little bit of pleasure will lead you to a week of, can't even look people in the eye, a week of weakness, bro, for real. A week of vulnerability that you could have prevented by just denying yourself that little bit of pleasure for the more long-term pleasure of being your, you know, in tip-top condition, your best self. So again, jerking off, you know, cutting that shit out. That's the biggest thing, I think, to help quell your weaker self. There are little things you can do too, like taking cold showers. That's a big one. Joe Rogan was talking about it, and he mentioned that, you know, he takes an ice bath. You know, he'll just hop in an ice bath, bro. And it's like, yeah, that's certainly one way to do it. And he's talking about, like, you know, every time before he hops into it, like, the weaker part of himself says, oh, I don't want to do this. This is bullshit, you know. But then stronger side of himself prevails, and he gets in that thing, and he makes it happen. That's a big deal, you know what I'm saying? Being able to just push past your weaker self and make the important things happen. Take a cold shower, you know what I'm saying? And I want to say that I understand the appeal. I'll say that much. I understand the appeal of just, you know, taking a warm shower, of deciding that, you know, I just want to bust a nut because it feels good, you know what I'm saying? Type deal. I understand the appeal of that, but you have to keep in mind your weaker self wouldn't desire it without the appeal. It's the appeal that piques your weaker self's interest, its desire, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't want it without the appeal. And so by denying yourself that little bit of pleasure, you can engage in the more long-term pleasure, the more lasting pleasure, and perhaps at a lower degree. You know, it's a balancing. You know, where you might get more pleasure out of this, it has more consequences. You might get less pleasure out of something that's healthy for you, but it's longer lasting. It's more consistent, stable. Seek stable in this world. You know what I'm saying? There's too much eccentric, you know, outlandish behavior going on nowadays. Especially this kind of behavior that pushes people towards their weaker self. You know, a few other ways to counteract this weaker part of yourself. Things like working out, you know what I mean? Just the act of working out destroys the weak part of yourself that desires comfort all the time. And you have to push that part of yourself to the side to really push them. I mean, like, I do pull-ups all the time, you know what I'm saying? Just, like, you know, engaging in anything that makes your weaker self step to the side so that your stronger self is in position. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a part of yourself that you want to be honoring, that you want to be pursuing and taking care of and listening to, really. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep an open ear to the strong side of yourself. And one last one. Let's talk about, you know, we're talking about taking showers. You got to take care of business, too. You know what I'm saying? Taking cold showers, but you got to take care of business. So there are going to be a lot of things in your life that are necessities, things that you got to get done. And I grew up on the phrase, work before pleasure. You know what I'm saying? You got to get all the important things, the hardcore things out of the way first, and then you can take it easy. Then you can kick back and enjoy yourself. But first, you have to accomplish, you have to conquer your tasks. And doing that first really makes the weaker part of yourself, throw a fit sometimes. You know what I mean? You're going to want to be just kicking back, enjoying yourself all the time. And whenever you can curb that part of yourself and say, no, there's something I need to get done right now, so I'm going to take care of that. And then I can really enjoy myself later without having these things over my head, you know what I mean? These things that I know I got to get done that are just backing me up and taking me outside of the actual enjoyment of what I'm trying to do with my activity. Whenever you can conquer that side of yourself, you know what I'm saying, and really listen to the part of yourself that says, get these things done. The side of yourself that says, we're going to push these weights to maintain health. You know what I'm saying? We're going to take this cold shower so that, I understand that I'm in charge here. I'm not going to listen to my weak side, the weak side of myself that says, yeah, but I just want to have a warm, comfortable experience. Nah, bro. I'm going to be the one that's in charge here. And I say we take a cold shower. You know what I'm saying? Boost that testosterone a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, being able to do that, that's what empowers you as an individual in this world. Keep your temple pure. You keep your mind on just sharp mode. You know what I'm saying? You keep your comprehension at a 10. Because you're listening to the strong side of yourself. And the strong side of yourself is always going to understand things best. Because there's a side of yourself that cares about your progress. It cares about your accomplishments. It cares about getting things done. And by listening to the strong side of yourself, you're going to be accomplishing more. You're going to be getting more done. You're going to be a stronger individual in this world. And, I'll say this as a parting. This is not to say that the weaker side of yourself doesn't have a place. Again, without the inner desire to get these kind of nicer things for ourselves, we wouldn't be doing it. But it's being able to do things like, okay, I'm not going to go eat some fast food right now. Fast food is really bad for my body. It's got plenty of soy. It's going to emasculate me. I'm not putting that stuff in my body. But what I will do is cook myself a healthy meal. What I will do is go ahead and go to the grocery store. If I don't have these, ingredients, going to go buy myself that, make sure I stay stocked up on these good, healthy things. And, if I don't know how to cook, I'm going to look up some recipes on YouTube. I'm going to figure it out because there's endless resources at your disposal for you to be able to accomplish little things, little life-changing things like cooking yourself a meal. You know what I'm saying? Just like, bro, if you got a meal prep, it doesn't matter, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have time to cook. There's a way that you can make a meal for yourself. When you put the pressure in to figuring that out, when you decide to really pursue, a better lifestyle, all the doors will open before you. But it takes you stepping up to the plate, stepping up to the doorstep and saying, okay, I'm going to go through this door. I'm going to pursue strength. I'm going to pursue better living, healthier lifestyle. I'm going to pursue that because I want that. My teacher will say, it's like, I'm going to help you out. My professor, I should say. He would say, I'm going to help you out, but first you have to try and help yourself. You have to desire that help for yourself. You have to seek it out. It's like the Lord said, man, seek and thee shall find. Science, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's straight up like that. It's very simple, but it's real. All right. I hope that this video enlightened you on the strong side of yourself versus the weak side of yourself and helped you see that there are better ways to maintain your life than seeking just hedonistic, easy, comfortable living. You know what I'm saying? In fact, the most optimal way to maintain your life and to maintain your temple, this body, this mexer that we got to walk through the world and operate, is to empower the strong side of yourself by taking, the little pleasures that you would give to the weak side of yourself and replacing those things with strong activities, with activities that better you, that fulfill you, and that build you up into something like the best version of yourself. Again, some little just tips that you can use that will better your life. Working out, taking cold showers, taking care of business before you engage in those fun tasks, eating right, you know what I'm saying? I think I said taking cold showers already. Listen, bro, you know what I'm saying? Those are just off the top of my head, man. There are so many different ways. Working out, there are so many different ways that you can strengthen yourself and pursue better living, better habits. But you have to actually seek them out. You have to make it a priority to put these things into your life. All right, I hope this video enlightened you and gave you a little perspective on pushing down and disempowering the weaker side of yourself, disenfranchising, the weaker side of yourself and empowering the strong side. All right, take care, y'all. Peace.